Welcome, everybody, to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. Excuse my cough. I don't know if it's allergies or I don't know, but it's coming back a little bit. But anyway, we're back for our weekly six-pack that we literally just decided what it was going to be like an hour ago, and we're not even fully, done with our list. So it's it's one of those shows. But and we weren't really sure what to call this, so we're just going with the six-pack make wrestling great again. Kind of talking about we did a similar one a couple months back. What they could do to make kind of the wrestling industry landscape as it is right now better. Some places need it more than others, obviously, but we're going to kind of talk about our ideas, what we would do, what we think would work to help out in certain areas. But let's and mine are in really no particular order. I don't think we kind of did this in order of like 6 to 1. This is just 6 random things. For my first one, I put, and this is more for TNA and WWE, I would say have more sort of tournaments. I was just thinking about it because obviously we have the Cruiserweight Classic coming up. I think TNA is thinking about bringing back the Bound for Glory series or whatever, which is kind of a good step. But I was also thinking about, New Japan has the G1 Climax. They have Best of the Super Juniors. They have a couple other things. Ring of Honor just had a tag team tournament thing. I think it would just be cool to have, tournaments, back in wrestling more. Because that's kind of something that a lot of fans like to see. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily for, it could be for a title or for a, number one contendership. It could be, something like a King of the Ring or a trophy or something, but obviously make the trophy mean something, not, Andre the Giant Memorial. Where's that trophy, by the way? Where'd that go? But yeah, I would add tournaments, like I said, more for TNA and WWE, because I think they could definitely use it. Like I said, New Japan already has a couple tournaments. Ring of Honor does some tournaments. But I would just like to see kind of some more tournament stuff because it fills in your schedule. It gets more guys TV time, even if they're guys that aren't going to win the tournament. It's at least it gives them a chance to kind of be seen on TV. DJ, your first one, number 6 or whatever.
Alrighty, my number 6, I guess we're calling it, is use your ally and partner networks to promote your product. And this, I started thinking about this one like last week. I was looking at Pop TV as a network, and a lot of people, complain about how Pop TV is not that big and all of this. And I don't know if TNA is willing to take this type of a chance, but Pop TV is allied with CBS Sports. If I could pull up the page real quick, I would tell you all of the allies. But they're allied with and partnered with a lot of different networks. So I feel like TNA could somehow get some promotion going there. Same thing with WWE, because I've been more so thinking about this with the ratings and stuff like that, where the ratings have been down probably as low as they've been in quite some time. So I've always felt like WWE has that relationship with ESPN. Why can't they put some stuff on ESPN? Now I know ESPN is kind of, they kind of do their own thing, but they have the interviews on there, which is good. That does, you know, because I'm sure there's people like, oh, WWE's still a thing, you know, so that kind of does help out a little bit with that. But they could also, you know, put some of the documentaries on there, especially when ESPN needs to fill some time. You know, put some of the documentaries on there to kind of so you can know some of these guys' stories, and you know, kind of see the realistic portions of wrestling. I think would be kind of cool. Um, and I would even say for WWE, throw like an older pay per view on there. Like if so, Battlegrounds coming up. Why don't you just throw on like a just talk to ESPN and be like, you know, hey, can we, you know, you got this time slot that's even if it's for starters like 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, you got this open time slot at 3 a.m. in the morning. Can we put our battleground to 2014 or 2015? Goodness gracious, this 2016 already. 2015 pay per view. You know, on your network, kind of promote ourselves a little bit, and they could do that. But I don't know if WWE would do it because you know WWE kind of has an ego of it, you know, to itself a little bit. Um, but yeah, like with Pop TV, some of the sister channels that they have is, um, you know, through CBS, CW, Showtime, CBS Sports. So I've you know, I feel like if I don't know if TNA's willing to take this chance or if they have someone over that department per se. Um, that's kind of one of the things with TNA. I don't understand why they don't have someone looking into these other TV networks because there's obviously people who can't get Pop TV who want to watch it, right? So I've always, and I know they're trying to get it on different apps and stuff, which is a good idea. But as far as television is concerned, I feel like they should be trying to talk to these other sister channels, like CW and you know maybe even CBS Sports. I know CBS would be a you know a long shot just because CBS is not that type of a network, but I feel like you know they could definitely you know you could definitely work with those networks and try to get yourselves on somewhere else other than you know where you already are. But you know I just feel like it would be a good idea for you know both companies, even Ring of Honor. You know they're under Sinclair, so obviously Sinclair has some partner networks that they can work with too. And if you know they're already like if the networks already kind of you know collaborate already, then why would it be that hard to put this show on another channel or put glimpses of the show like a shortened version or something on another channel or something? But you know that's just that was just my number six. That was just my opinion. I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, yeah, they could definitely do it. You know, I think um, even with you know the internet being so kind of big right now, I think TV is still kind of the biggest platform that they have, really, because that's you know the majority of how people watch wrestling still. Other than you know if you have the WWE network, you know TNA doesn't have a network. Ring of Honor doesn't really have a network. You can pay for like the Ring of Honor whatever thing on the website, but you know to watch the shows, you know you kind of gotta either you know have the Fight app or you know find it on Pop TV or whatever. But anyway, my next top six thingy thing is try to do more interpromotional you know shows, matches, things like that. All the companies used to do it even back in you know the 90s. WWE did some stuff with I think it might have been New Japan and then CMLL, a couple other promotions from Mexico that they used to do. You know, we know TNA used to work with I think it was Wrestle One, and some other I think some promotions in Mexico too. Ring of Honor still kind of does, you know, still works with New Japan and stuff. But I think you know the more you kind of branch out, you kind of get more of a fan base, and you know it gets those you know those smart fans that you know say, oh, you know, Japanese wrestling is the best, or you know, wrestling from Mexico is the best. Why not use that? Why not try to work something in where you know cross promote, you know, have these matches with these guys? I don't understand why they don't do that. It's good for both companies. It kind of helps both promotions. And I just wish they would do that more. If WWE would kind of be harder because like you were saying in the other one, WWE has this ego where they're the top dog. They don't need to do all this blah blah blah. They might not need to do it, but it would be good to do it. And then obviously TNA, it would help them a lot. Ring of Honor would help them a lot. Um, you know, it, Even though they're smaller promotions, would help them a lot too. Um, but that's my number 5, I think. Yeah. So your number 5.
Alrighty. I also have cross promotion is key, so I'll just move that to number 5. Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I don't even think that's what I meant when I wrote it down, but now now that I'm thinking about it, that is kind of what I meant. Like get yourself involved with different companies because I think some of the funnest times with TNA was when they were collaborating with NWA. And they had the the NWA title. I thought that was kind of cool. And they collaborated with Russell Winnet. I just like I like collaboration between companies because it kind of it gives you something different to look at because I mean you get used to the same roster, seeing the same roster over and over and over again, and you can do storylines and this and change it up. But yeah, one of the best changes you can do is have these cross promotional shows. I love that Ring of Honor does the what is it, Global Wars, I think it's called, where they do it like every year. I like that. Um, Even a cross promotional tournament, kind of mixing your number 1 and number 2 would be kind of cool if you don't want to you don't want to have to spend a ton of money on it, but you can do it over the course of a period of time. A cross promotional tournament would be cool to kind of bring because that brings in the fans from those companies who exclusively watch those companies because believe it or not there are people who only watch one company or only watch WWE, so like that does bring those guys in. um, and I think it would kind of be cool for kind of the casual fans to kind of click on and see these different guys on a show or whatever. So yeah, I think cross promotion would be definitely a good thing.
All right. So next, this is more of a WWE one, and this is kind of a WWE shop one. I've been thinking about this for a while now, and I don't know why they've never done this. I think WWE should add a sort of a T-shirt deal on their website, kind of like TNA has the blue bag special. I think Pro Wrestling Tees has a mix and match special or something where like you get a couple random shirts. I don't know why WWE's never done something like this. Obviously WWE they'll do anything to get the almighty dollar. I think this would be an awesome way for them to because you see how popular the brown bag special, the blue bag special is with TNA. People buy multiple of them, and they sell so much. I think that would be something that cool that WWE should do with their website. I mean, they always have some good sales, from day to day or week to week or whatever. But to have something kind of permanent on there, a deals section or something like that, I think would definitely, in a way, you're losing money, but if it's popular enough, you're actually making more money,
Yeah.
um, sort of. But it was something I've been thinking about for a while now, at why they've never done that. But I think that's something that definitely would be something cool that if they did it.
And I agree with that. I think that could be a kind of a cool thing, especially if they wanted to get rid of some of the older shirts that they have.
Yeah.
They could do it around pay per view times too. Because people like to wear their little pay per view shirts around. I don't have a lot, but if I have a particular pay per view shirt, I'll wear it or whatever, or for the occasion. So that would be kind of cool, even if they wanted to run it like just as a pay per view type thing. So hey, get 2 SummerSlam shirts and a DVD for $20 or whatever. I don't know. Like I think that definitely would be kind of cool. My number 4, I think we're on. is kind of what, now that I'm thinking about it, what I meant by the cross promotion thing in the beginning. Um, is let your superstars venture off into other things that could possibly help you. Um, and this brings me to Brock Lesnar, because and that's kind of what gave me the idea about this though, because if you take you take Brock Lesnar out of the WWE realm and you put him in UFC for this one fight, number one, that helps UFC because UFC, because he is a draw to UFC from WWE. So I feel like that actually, it helps both companies because now people are, he talked about it in his press conference that he's gonna wrestle Randy Orton at SummerSlam in his press conference at the UFC, like after the UFC event. So I just kind of thought that was kind of cool, how they kind of played off of that. I just think it's always a good thing. I saw it just a few minutes ago with the ESPYS thing with John Cena. He's going to be doing that. So that, I mean, that just kind of, people who watch sports exclusively and don't watch wrestling, or maybe are interested in wrestling but just don't watch it on a regular basis, they see somebody like John Cena come from WWE, and
Oh,
they'll be like, oh,
yeah. Sorry, it was a boat train. My bad.
they see somebody come from WWE to do the ESPYS, and they're like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll go back and I'll go watch that person or whatever. And definitely with talk shows, I don't know if WWE does this enough, or TNA or any company. With like different talk shows that people have on a regular basis, I don't think they let their superstars go on these talk shows enough, to kind of not only promote themselves but promote WWE in general. Especially if you're the champion, or the world champion, WWE champion, whatever it is. I just feel like that will be kind of a good thing. Like I feel like they don't all you see the guys that you normally see, but you don't always see, like a guy like The Miz, for example, could be a guy, just still playing off of that movie star character, could go and talk about the Marine Five and talk about being a continental champion and stuff like that. But yeah, I think letting because you call them superstars, you call them these you make them their own brand. So allowing these guys to have their own brand to venture off and do other things that still help promote you isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be watching the ESPYs. So I decided that that's not going to happen. But I definitely agree. And I think not even just your champions, but like fan favorites, they should have them go on there. I mean, guys like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, guys that have, good fan following and personality. So it doesn't always have to just be, because I think when we kind of expect it when we do have a WWE superstar or whatever go on a talk show, it is always the WWE champion or something. So it's kind of like, it kind of gets stale after a while when they do it. I'm and kind of going back to the early mid '90s. They had Undertaker going on talk shows. They had Austin going on talk shows, and it wasn't always when they were the champion. It was just who was popular at the time, who would get that reaction, who would get people excited to watch whatever pay-per-view was coming up. But yeah, I definitely agree with that one. My next one is I kind of covered this in the last one, and I'm going to do it again and again until they listen to me. Hold on, Sasha Banks on my, oh, girl. Oh, you need to leave that man, and you need to come home. Girl, you need to come. Anyway, make all of your titles feel important, or eliminate the ones that you don't care about. What is the point of having a U.S. title if we really don't feel like you care about it? You try to build it up and then you give up on it, and then you try to build it up again and you give up on it. What's the point? We obviously want to see these titles built up, and we want to see them, mean something, especially, titles like the Intercontinental title, which has such a rich and prestigious history. We don't want to see a title like that go away, but we don't want to see it just kind of thrown around like it's nothing. especially for, yeah, we're gonna get an old joke here, but for older fans like myself, who remember back when that title was important, it was at times, like I said, uh, as important, if not very close to the WWE Championship. There was a point where it was kind of a measuring stick. If you won the Intercontinental title, 9 times out of 10, you were gonna go on to win the WWE title. Nowadays, I mean, you win the Intercontinental title, and unless you already have an established name, you're just gonna kind of be floating around in that mid card. So I think, and not even just with WWE, TNA too. Uh, some of their mid cards kind of start to be built up again, and then kind of get lost in the shuffle, or they rebrand a title 14 times. This one, I think it's gonna stick. I think the King of the Mountain title is gonna stick. I hope. Probably not. Also, the X Division title. I feel like they're trying to build it up again, but it's still. I'm not gonna hold my breath. But again, make all your titles feel important, or eliminate the ones that you're not gonna put any effort into.
Alrighty. That kind of brings me to my point, which is kind of 3 points in one, I guess, technically. Give us the fans characters, storylines, and I'm gonna go ahead and just add titles that we can care about. Because that's one of the main things when you look back at the Attitude Era, and when you look back at that, like everything always, it seemed like at least there was some sort of draw to it. That was always kind of been my thing, is like with the Attitude Era, there always seemed to be like the tag team division. There was something drawing you to it, whether it was the ladder matches or whatever. The world title, you had something drawing you to it. Let's just say it's The Rock. It's that character that The Rock had. That's kind of the charisma that he throws off, that drew you to it. And then you had these storylines outside of the titles that also kept you interested throughout the show, whether it was a pay-per-view or a Raw or whatever. Give us those storylines and characters and titles that we can care about. Because I think the issue with that is no one can hold a title for more than like 3 days and it actually be a relevant thing. It feels like with fans now, like if you hold the title for more than 2 days, like it's an issue. Like that's how it feels like with fans. Like someone hold the title for 10 days. Oh my God, it's been too long. We need a title change. So and like back in the day, I guess you could say, especially like 80s, 90s, people could hold titles for years and years and years and be fine, and still be interesting. So like that's kind of one of my things, is like, make this stuff mean something to us. That's kind of my thing with that. But I just feel like you gotta give us, you gotta reel us in a little bit with these characters, these storylines, these titles. But
I mean, speaking of people having titles too long, how many years has it been since the New Day won them tag team titles? I'm liking the New Day now, but like, come on now, give us new tag team champions, please. But anyway, my next, I think number 5. I have no idea where we're at anymore. I'm on my number 5.
Yeah, we're at number 5.
Okay. Longer, more entertaining matches. This has been an argument on Raw for so long that we don't get enough wrestling. And this again goes to New Japan kind of helps you see the most, I think, especially when you watch it on, I think it's Pop right now. It's on.
Texas TV.
Or yeah, Access TV. Um, they have, you know, good matches, entertaining, and after the match, they actually, show you how long the match was. And most of them, are 15, 20-minute matches, which, 15, 20 minutes, doing some average, mundane activity doesn't seem that long. But in a wrestling match, it really, when you're watching matches on Raw that are like 3 to 5 minutes long, it really gets you into it. And those guys after the match, you really, it really looks like they went through hell and went through a really intense match. You watch a match on Raw and it's like, did you guys even do anything? I just think they could add longer matches and make them more entertaining, because some of the matches still are just kind of it's an average Raw match or an average SmackDown match. And even with TNA too, some of their matches are kind of on the short side, but definitely add more to the matches, because at the end of the day, that's the point of wrestling, is the match. I mean, at least when I was growing up, that was the point of wrestling. I mean, maybe it changed. I don't know.
Alrighty, my number 2 or number 5. I'm not sure. Not sure which one we're on. Which way we're counting down or counting up. But my number, I'm just gonna say number 2 is make every show mean something. TNA does a great job with this right now. There's always a big match or something that's drawing you to the show. So, you may not have a great show, but at least if there's something I'm looking forward to, I can be excited about it. Like the Final Deletion or the Wyatt family doing whatever the Wyatt family's doing, because my signal just went out on my satellite, so I can't see it. So I'll watch it eventually. But, have something that I can look forward to on a show. This coming up Tuesday on TNA, they got the world title, X Division title thing going on, that match. So that's kind of something you can look forward to. Destination X in general is something you can look forward to. I feel like wrestling doesn't always, every show doesn't always mean something to us, especially with Raw. It feels like, like I get excited for Raw, but I know like most people are just like, oh God, it's Monday again. Like, oh God, it's Monday again, and not because they have to return back to work. So I just feel like, like, just make the shows mean something, especially on WWE's end. Do something with the show, promote something. You have Twitter, that's what it's for. That's what Facebook is for. You know, just promote it in some way. I think this week's show kind of had me thinking, kind of meant something a little bit more, because you had the Brock winning at UFC 200, so you had that happening. So what are they going to say about that? Are they going to even mention it? What's going to happen with the titles and whatnot. So I don't know. I just want every show to mean something. That's just kind of my thing. But Casey, looks like you're into that.
This is bold prediction. This might be better than the Final Deletion. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get some really hateful comments like, "You're an idiot. What's wrong with you?" But this looks really good. I'm just saying. My final points. More Jade pants. No, it's not more Jade. Again, gone over this before, but more women's division titles in TNA and WWE. The women's title that they have, or the Knockouts title, is great, but why not add a tag team title or something, something else, for your other divas or women or knockouts or whatever you're gonna call them anymore. It's kind of like you're wasting talent, and I felt like the Knockouts tag team titles were a cool title. I enjoyed the matches. I enjoyed, watching them. Um, I just think that's something that they should add. Kind of bring something more to the division.
All right. Last one. And LB Clash Kings is gonna hate me. LB One of a Kind is gonna hate me. He may unsubscribe today because I say this statement. Um, but or because of this argument, not the argument in general, but the person I'm gonna use in this argument. My last one is be unpredictable. Um, like that was kind of one of the things that really got you about the Attitude Era. Is it was unpredictable. And one of the things a guy I actually still like. I'm one of the few people that actually still like this guy, Vince Russo. I still like him. I don't know why, but I do. I love the man. But Vince Russo was as unpredictable as they come, and still is. But the man, that kind of is what drew a lot of casual fans in. Is you don't know what Austin's gonna do. You don't know what is Austin gonna do to McMahon this week. Is The Rock gonna run over, or The Rock gonna run over somebody's truck or something? You know what I mean? Like, who did that? Was that Austin in his freaking monster truck or whatever? But yeah, like you never know you never knew what was gonna happen, and that was kind of even David Arquette winning the freaking WCW title. It's a bad moment, but it was you weren't really expecting it. And that's kind of I'm not saying we need freaking Shaq to come in and win the WWE title, but I'm just saying we need more unpredictability. My example that I'm using here is now I know this is probably not gonna happen, but let's just say Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are cutting this promo tonight. And let's just say Roman Reigns just runs in, spears them both, and leaves. Like no one would be expecting it because he's suspended. And it would be just, to me, kind of cool. Even if he didn't say anything, he just comes in, Lashley style, spears people, and just leaves. Like he would, regardless, it would get a pop, whether it's negative, positive, neutral, under the table. It doesn't matter. He would get a pop. It doesn't matter. So I just think it would be, like they should be more unpredictable, just as, wrestling companies. When Bully Ray ended up being the leader of the Aces and Eights, that was so freaking cool to me. I loved it. I loved the turn. I loved everything about it. And one of the keys to wrestling in general are heel turns. Those are kind of the bigger, I guess, swerves you can say. But I don't know. I just think wrestling should be kind of more unpredictable. I know that Justin is not, it's on the bottom of his list and whatever. But when it comes to a story and would you rather see John Cena win every time, or would you rather see Kevin Owens beat him that first time when he beat him? I'm just saying.
Give me 1 second. I'm going over to my other channel so I can unsubscribe to this one after. But I definitely agree with that one, and I think in a way next week might begin the trend of that being more unpredictable, just because SmackDown is going to be going live, so you're not going to have all those spoilers and stuff. I think that's one thing that really killed kind of the ratings, really, because people would read all the spoilers and then you didn't have to watch SmackDown. There was no point.
I think too, like it's weird because even if you don't read spoilers, I don't read spoilers. I barely even watch SmackDown, but like when I do watch SmackDown, I don't read the spoilers or anything, and it's still predictable, right? Like even for us who don't read the spoilers, it shouldn't be as predictable to us. I don't feel like. I don't know. I just feel like it's weird that it's so predictable. Like some of the better moments are are funner. Are the fun moments to me. Like Rollins coming out and cashing in at WrestleMania 31. Who would have ever even thought about it? I mean, I know some people thought about it, but like the majority of us, not really. Oh God, even Brock Lesnar doing what he did at the WrestleMania of 30s.
Don't talk about that. Don't
even that. Like that that always, it always puts that show in your mind as one of the best WrestleManias, just because of, well, one of the most sad. The, anyway, I just feel like if there was more, like, that's kind of one of the more important things, to me. I know Justin doesn't agree with the predictability and stuff, but I just feel like when a match is more, when a match, a storyline, the end of a storyline, the beginning of a storyline is more unpredictable. There's just there's so much more to it. When Hogan joined the NWO, that was cool. It kind of happens more with heels than it does with faces, like heel turns and stuff like that. Than it does with faces. It's kind of hard to be as unpredictable with faces, but I just think unpredictability is something we need back in wrestling, just in general. Adam Cole kicks the living crap out of freaking Kyle O'Reilly, and I was like, what? I was like in shock. I was like, I wasn't expecting it at all, and I'm like,
why you gotta bring that up? Why?
I know, right? He kicked him right in the face, like super kick style, and I was like,
Bruh, Tyler Raleigh's my boy, and I don't understand why you gotta be doing like that. I mean, he might, come out of nowhere and put you in an armbar. So I would watch what you're saying, because he could do it out of nowhere. You don't even know it. But anyway, that was our six pack for this week. Make wrestling great again. We already started with making Darren Young great again, #1 contender for the Intercontinental title. So we're trying to make wrestling great again. So tomorrow, obviously, we have TNA, and then the Wednesday is going to be NXT. And then following NXT is the beginning of the Cruiserweight Classic. So Wednesday is going to be busy for us. And then obviously the following week starts the live SmackDown and the draft and everything. So go on to WWE.com/draft and do your fantasy draft. I already did mine, so you should do yours. But before you do that, go and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, look at other videos and stuff like that. Send us suggestions for six packs and all that fun stuff. Also follow us on Twitter, ICW_podcast, and send us stuff on there too. And we will see you on that thing that I used to say, but some people don't like when I be saying it anymore. So I try not to say it on the flippity dippity. Oh, I just said it. We will see you on that one.